Hey everybody, good evening from Tubac, Arizona. I'm here in my hammock. It's, what is it, Friday night? It's a little funny with Thanksgiving. And I'm just chilling here in this little patio. This is my Airbnb. And I got my pig, Jimena, my butternut squash. And then I also got that new sun face. She's a very ornate sun face. So let's do a live stream, okay? Uh, the hammock life. I'm sitting in my little snuggly single frame hammock. I bought it in on Amazon. It was only like, I want to say it was $70, and then with Amazon's discounts, I think I got it for like $40, something like that. So it's a good deal. And I do spend a lot of time in this hammock. A lot of time. So there you go. A few housekeeping issues with my YouTube channel. First of all, in case anybody cares, number one, there are not that many saguaros in Tubac, Arizona. So I haven't been doing a saguaro of the day video unless I'm in Saborita or Green Valley or if I'm up in Tucson. All right, there's not that many at all. And there's just a few maybe in people's front yards, but I don't want to be weird and do a video in front of somebody's house. That would be it would depend, but for the most part, it's usually not feasible. So anyway, I'm not doing saguaro of the day videos. I'm doing like 2 or 3 a week because that's usually how many times I'm up towards the Tucson area. All right, Tucson is actually that way, okay, and Mexico is that way. Mexico, Tucson. There you go. I'm 40 miles. I looked it up. I'm 40 miles south of downtown Tucson. And I'm roughly 23 miles north of the Mexico border, where Nogales, Arizona, Nogales, Sonora is. So there you go. All right. How's everyone doing? Please comment. Let's talk about whatever. You can use me as a advice if you have I'll be your Dear Abby columnist. If you need advice about something, I'll try to give it to you. All right. So there you By the way, I do recommend visiting Tubac. All right. All my Tucson friends and connections. First of all, you need to visit me. Okay, that's a given. But then secondly, come to Tubac. We're just this cute little, the historic area is very cute and you can walk around. There's lots of art galleries and by Talavera and Mexican art, things like my pig and my butternut squash lantern. They got lots of neat artsy kind of things. There's lots of cute stores. They got like one's called Tubac Cookery, and it's like a kitchen, cooking, everything you could ever imagine from a cooking store, kitchenware, all sorts of like decorations related to kitchens. There's lots of great Michelle's Gallery, Kokosch Boutique, La Katrina. That's where I buy most of my pigs. Is at La Katrina, and then there's also the Presidio. That's actually pretty interesting. The original fort that the Spanish built. Tubac is the first settlement among European settlers. It was the Spanish in, I want to say, the late 1600s. They came up from Mexico. Anyway, I'm going to chop up the history really bad, but the Presidio State Park, actually kind of pretty interesting about the history with the Spanish and the Native American tribes, mostly the Tohono O'odham, and then also there was the Apaches, and then the Spanish and the Civil War, and it's kind of interesting. Maybe. But really, though, the Presidio, you can go to Elvira's. It's kind of pricey in there. It is like a gourmet kind of place. I've only walked in. All right, I haven't eaten there, but it's like a gourmet kind of place. And the inside is fabulous. So go to Elvira's. We got a couple of little coffee shops that are okay. And yeah, there's just a lot of interesting places for buying metal art and Talavera and like Spanish, if you like the kind of like the Spanish Mexican decor that kind of goes with the whole Tucson area. There's lots of things here. You'll find something, find something to buy. So there you go. In other news, I watched the 5th episode of Pluribus. Pluribus is in its first season. And watched episode 5 called Got Milk. Pluribus, you have to watch it. All right, listen to me. If you really enjoyed Breaking Bad, and if you really enjoyed Better Call Saul, which are both creations of Vince Gilligan, I think Peter Gould was part of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad maybe, but ultimately Vince Gilligan was kind of like the main genius to those shows. This is all Vince Gilligan's idea, and it's amazing. It's kind of a mystery. It's science fiction. And in episode 5, I was cracking up a whole bunch of times, just out loud laughing. I really think it's funny. In some ways, it's really funny. And then it goes to the whole issue of human nature. And then, of course, with Vince Gilligan, you never know who the good guy is, or you're always like, who am I cheering for here? I don't know. Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? You're seeing everybody's points of views. And depending on the scene, the dynamics, you're cheering for this person, then you're cheering for that person. That's kind of really interesting. And then with Pluribus, I won't give any spoilers, and definitely don't give any spoilers in the comment section. I'll delete and ban you if you do it. But there's the issue of people pleasing. As a licensed professional counselor, as a therapist, sometimes I have clients that say, Steve, I'm a people pleaser. I'm always trying to please people. And Pluribus kind of addresses that issue of, should we be a people-pleasing type person? Can we go too far with pleasing people? And then does it really even work, the idea of people-pleasing? Because it seems almost like people-pleasing is like enabling people, in their misery or their sense of power or grumpiness. But anyway, it's a really interesting topic. And then there's other matters related to human nature. And what would you give up if you could have world peace? If you could have world peace, almost what would you give up if there were no more crime in the world? No more racism. No more racist assholes at all. What would what would the price be? What you know what I mean? That's just an interesting topic, and I'll just leave it at that. And then the whole issue of like individuality versus like collective. People say in America we have a highly individualized culture, and we do, at least compared to other cultures, especially Asian cultures, or there's other cultures where there's much more of either a collective mindset, or it's hard to explain. But there's that whole issue of like, are we too individualized? But is it bad to be individual, or how much is too much about being like collective? Or, like I know in Asian cultures, because I've talked to a lot of Asians, it's like, you represent your family. Don't bring shame to your family. You know what I mean? And at least like in my, I don't know, my Anglo background, Italian American. I don't care. I just live my life, and I'm not worried about bringing shame to anyone, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but there's that whole issue of the individual versus the collective. And sometimes there's like benefits from collective action, from joining a group, doing things as a group, but then you can go too far almost like HOAs, which I generally support HOAs, but then sometimes they can go too far with being controlling or whatever. But then if we're all so individualistic and we're not thinking about everybody, that can be a problem too. I definitely remember, I will bring this up, during the COVID pandemic, there's so many just selfish people just thinking about themselves, and I don't want to wear a mask, and I don't want to obey protocols and all that kind of stuff. When you just had to be a little bit higher minded and saying, hey, we need to slow down the spread of this virus because hospitals are getting filled. They're getting overwhelmed. People are dying. Anyway, that whole issue, like that was a good example of like people being so selfish and just thinking of themselves and not thinking about others, or kind of like our community, the wellness of others, maybe even the wellness of people you'll never meet. So anyway, all right, so I'm rambling about all these ideas, but so that at least that's what Pluribus has me thinking about, or all these things. And of course, with just any good show, there's always just the issue of what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? And the beauty with Vince Gilligan, I will give him full credit, is you think it's going one way, okay, and then all of a sudden it goes a different way, or it just goes a way that you never would expect. You know what I mean? So it's like expect the unexpected. You think it's going this way, and then boom, something out of the blue comes, and you're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And then all of a sudden you're off to the races. So anyway, I highly recommend Pluribus. And Ray Seahorn, I didn't know who she was until I watched Better Call Saul, when she played Kim Wexler. She's going to win an Emmy or an Oscar. I'm not sure when you're an actor, do you win an Emmy? Anyway, she's going to win awards for her acting. It's just unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable the work I'm trusting she's getting paid well, because she is acting like, she's acting. It's just incredible. So anyway, so go watch Pluribus. I was telling my friend Brandy this. When I watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, it was after the shows had already ended. And so I just binged watched. I watched Breaking Bad, whatever, all 55 episodes within maybe a month and a half. And then, anyway, so I could just binge watch. Okay, watch 1 or 2 episodes a day. Now it's like with Pluribus, it's just like once a week, every Friday. And by the way, there's only going to be, I think, 10 episodes, maybe 8. I don't know. It might be 8 or 10. So for the first season, I know it ends like December 26th. So anyway, so now I have to be patient. And hello, Possibility. Welcome to my live stream. I'm just an ordinary dude here in Tubac, Arizona, sitting in my hammock. And so, hey, last thing, I'm going to buy, all right, I need to do this. I'm going to buy a Pluribus t-shirt because I want to wear it to the world. And I'm trying to find people. I won't say none, but far too many of my friends are not watching Pluribus. My friend Sarah, who's my massage therapist, I text her. Anyway, I want to wear a Pluribus shirt. And actually, I'm going to look it up here. So then maybe it'll strike conversations with people. Let me just see here. Pluribus t-shirt for sale. Okay, hit images. See, I want to get a tank top, but it looks like they just got, click this one. This is probably the one I'm going to get. Just a standard yellow with Carol looking a little troubled. Let's call her troubled. I'm just going to get this shirt. For some reason, yellow is the color. Yellow is the color of this show. So, pretty interesting. Let's see here. Oh, I could get black. I really like the yellow, though. Here's the black. With the yellow, it really pops. But I like the Pluribus. Maybe I'll buy both. Maybe I'll just buy both. So, really, the thing with Pluribus is I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't know who I'm cheering for. You know what I mean? There's sort of like the frame. I'm not going to give too much away, but in a lot of science fiction movies, it's like there's the big, bad, evil forces trying to destroy the world. And then there's the humans that are, standing for good and saving the world. And this is one where I'm like, am I cheering for the humans? Who? I don't get it. Like, why are this one's okay? That's all I got to say. So, here's another shirt. This one's only $10. It says it's only $10. Pluribus. There you go. All right, I'm gonna have to research this. Gonna have to read. Wait, there's a shirt that says Carol. Let's see. All right, this one. This is kind of funny. Carol. Come on, people. If you've watched Pluribus, you'll know that's kind of a funny shirt. The many faces and hairdos of Carol. So, by the way, Carol, I'm pretty sure it was named because of Carol Burnett. Vince Gilligan loves Carol Burnett. They're friends. Carol Burnett did a little. She acted. She played the role of somebody in Omaha for Better Call Saul. So they have a relationship. And I think Vince was like, the main character will be Carol. So I think that's really cool. I really like Vince Gilligan. Like, he's a guy, I just really admire him. I respect him. He's not this prideful, pompous, like he's really down to earth. He's really humble. In all of his interviews, he's always giving credit to the actors and his co-producers and the other writers. And he just makes it clear, like it's a group process, writing these shows. And it doesn't matter who comes up with the idea. If it's a good idea, we'll roll with it. And I really like Vince Gilligan. That's all. Look, my live stream is a little quiet. I only have 2 people watching. I had 4 and went down to 1. Now it's up to 2. I've only had 1 person who's commented, the possibility guy. So, and I do appreciate it. It could be a woman, possibility woman, or whatever your gender is. Thank you for your comment. So, there you go. Here in my hammock. Really, you know what? I want to give some credit to Matt McGinnis. I met him. I met Matt on one of my live streams. He used to live in Sahuarita with his family. He's moved around. Now he's in Boise, Idaho. But he was the guy that got me really into hammocks. In fact, I met him. That was fall of 2021 that I met Matt. Definitely going to text Matt and make sure he watches this because I'm talking about him. But anyway, he was the one. He had a couple of hammocks in his house, and he had a little man cave. And I remember sitting in the hammock, and I was like, hey, yeah, that's right. This is really cozy. It's nice. And I'm kind of this out. I just love being outside. You know, you can have a hammock indoors, but sometimes it's like really nice. It's just nicer than sitting on a couch just to be in a hammock. You're still relaxed. But when you're on a couch, to me, it almost feels like there's just an element of like being lazy. And that's not the right word, but it just feels a little bit like you're being lethargic and lazy. But when you're in a hammock, it's like you can sway, and it just feels like it's sort of like cuddled in this little thing, this little cocoon. And, I put a bell on the end of the hammock. So if I shake it, can you hear the bell? It's just a nice little touch. Anyway, I recommend hammocks. Go check them out on Amazon. You can buy this. This is like the cheapest style. And I think they go for like 60, 70 bucks. And maybe, whatever, $10 in shipping. But sometimes on Amazon, they have them for sale. Because I think I got this for like 35, 40 bucks. So that's all. It's like, what am I going to do? Sit on a couch? The Airbnb is nice, but the couch isn't like, it's not an inviting couch. The couch doesn't say, hey, why don't you recline on me? You'll love it. It's just a little more like, oh, don't get things dirty. Oh, it just doesn't. It's an okay couch. So there you go. Yeah. Possibility. Wind chimes are pretty nice too. I agree with that. Hey, possibility. Have you been to Tubac? Do you know where I'm living right now? Is that how you found me? Sometimes people find me because of the location. YouTube knows my location, and then if I put it in the title heading, sometimes people find me, or that kind of thing. So here's a topic. I'm playing pickleball. I've played pickleball twice now in Tubac. And I recommend, if you're looking for a game, if you're looking to get into shape, and maybe it's like you can play pickleball. People say, I kind of joked about it, that it looks like miniature tennis for old people. And I won't even argue with that. It is it's smaller. It seems like older retired people love it. But man, I got such a workout. My glutes, my hamstrings, like it'll work you out. And it's a fun game. So, and it is kind of similar to tennis. The strokes are kind of similar, and it's a plastic ball. And anyway, I recommend it. I'm having a lot of fun. So just highly recommend pickleball. And I got to do videos of playing pickleball. So we'll see. I'm still building relationships. I'm a new guy. I'm just a beginner. I've been so thankful. This pickleball club in Tubac, like there's somebody that's like, they're in charge of helping the beginners improve, get to a level where they're now intermediate or whatever. I mean, like, I need to be paying. This woman, Lucy, was last week. And then a guy, I think his name was Anthony, a really nice guy. And he spent like 40 minutes with me, 45 minutes, working on my backhand. And it was so much fun. So anyway, if you can, I've heard a lot that some of these pickleball clubs, they're really friendly and don't be intimidated if you're brand new. Usually they have like a beginner's time where you could show up at a specific time and say you're a beginner, and they'll welcome you and teach you. And so anyway, I'm just blabbing. So there you go. All right, well, without further ado, I'm getting off this live stream. Hey, Possibility, thank you for your comments. Thank you for watching. I see the little king thing next to your name. I really appreciate that. All right. My line that I say, especially when I'm in Arizona, is make it a great day in the desert. Don't you know it, baby? Arizona style. All right. So thank you for watching and signing off. Jimena, my pig, my butternut squash, jack-o'-lantern, and then that sun-faced woman. They all say hello. All right. Or goodbye. Really, though. Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right. Oh, I'm going to work on some not too shabby videos. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going on a bike ride in the desert. I'm hoping to find something to do a not too shabby of. So, all right. All right. Good night, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.